What's going on YouTube? Kamikazevondoom here with another Outriders video. And in today's video we are going to talk about weapon mods. Which weapon mods should you seek after? Which ones should you not use? And which ones are best for you? So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the Tier 1 weapon mods. Now if you are new to the channel and you do want to support, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Let me know in the comment section below how you like this video. And subscribe for more Outriders content. Now let's get into this. So you want to talk to Zahidi and act as if you're going to level up some gear. Now I'm just going to choose my primary weapon, go to mod gear. So we're going to talk about all of the tier 1 weapon mods. I do not have all of the tier 3 weapon mods. However, later on today, I'm going to release another video talking about all of the tier 2 mods. So we're going to have 2 videos today talking about weapon mods, and this one is going to be all about your 25 tier 1 mods. So let's get into it. Starting off at the top, you have Vampire. Now this, once you kill an enemy, it'll grant 15% skill leech boost for 20 seconds. Now skill leech, you damage an enemy with a skill, it leeches that health, and then it gives it right back to you. This will increase it by 15%. Right? Skill leech? Yeah. And it's basically why it's called Vampire. So that'll happen for 20 seconds. Now for me personally, I would not recommend using this mod right out the gate, because once you get into the whole skill leech attribute and you start speccing into that, you're going to want to use maybe a tier 2 or tier 3 mod instead. But as far as tier 1 mods, this one's not bad, but I would not recommend it. Next up is Shield Maiden. So this one is kind of a gray area depending on your character, because these shots will just generate a shield and it happens every 1 second. So you're constantly giving yourself a shield. This could be really good for survivability, but again, I would not recommend this one either. Next up, we have Ricochet. Now, Ricochet I would recommend, especially if you're just beginning the game and you're not getting used to how to train or farm these hordes of enemies that just come at you. So using Ricochet would actually help. Now, Ricochet, it says right here, shoots ricochet to another enemy within 5 meters of the initial target, and this will happen every second. So basically you can just shoot the enemy, and every second it has a chance to ricochet and hit another enemy on top of that. Pretty good. This one's really good for hordes, because you can just sit there, waste them either with an AR or even an LMG, and it'll just ricochet and hit all the enemies around them. It's pretty cool to watch as well. So Ricochet would be the first one I would recommend you use. Next up, we have Anomaly Surge. So critical shots will spawn a Anomaly Energy Blast that deals 26,187 damage in a 2-meter radius. Now this damage will scale due to your level. So right now I think I can go up to like level 49 for gear and weapons. So this mod is just continuously going up, and obviously I'm not at level 50 yet, so we'll be able to go up one more time. And that is Anomaly Surge. Now I personally would not choose Anomaly Surge. It does only proc on crit hits, and it's not, it's not something you actually want to look after. So I'd probably skip Anomaly Surge. Next up, Vulnerability Bullets. So shots will inflict vulnerability on an enemy, and this will happen every 8 seconds. Personally, I would skip this mod just because there's a few more mods later down in the list that have better status effects. So vulnerable is a status effect that you're putting on the enemy, and compared to like say, freeze, burn, bleed, things like that, I would probably skip vulnerable and go for one of those. And I'll explain as soon as we hit that one. So vulnerability bullets, shoot inflicts vulnerable You can use it if you want. I would pass. Next one is clip of Amalthea. There is a 30% chance that your crit shot will not consume the ammo. Now, usually I would think this is a good mod, but I would tell you not to use this mod either, because crit shots are not consistent. Especially on console, they're even harder to go by than on PC. But I have found that even with my Inferno Seed, all of my talents surround crit shots, and I have noticed that crit shots are mainly headshots. So, with that being said, if you're not comfortable with just getting headshots or just going for the crits, this mod's not for you, so I would probably skip it. And if you want a mod that does not consume your ammo, there are some other really great mods out there, so skip this one. Next up, we have Critical Point. Increases the chance of scoring a critical hit shot by 15%. Now, this one is not bad. So, basically, for what I just said, a lot of you that cannot hit crit shots, or you're not comfortable just going for the head, to try to get crit shots that way, this is a good secondary. So this will increase your crit hit chance by 15%. That's not bad. That's pretty good boost. Now for beginner players, and maybe say you get this on a assault rifle, something like that, it's not a bad talent to have or mod to have, will you? Now, is it the best to use out of all these tier 1s? That's up to debate. But for all of you that are having trouble getting your crit hit shots, definitely try this mod out. Alright, so that is your first row. Alright, let's start out the second row. Fireworks. So shots create an explosion that deals 30... Okay, now the damage again, the damage scales with your level. So just mind you, if you look at this and then you go back to your character and you look at fireworks and you're like, yo, Kami, why does yours say 39,000? Mine says 6,000. It's because it scales with your level and your gear. So just mind you. So fireworks, shots will create an explosion, and that'll happen every 3 seconds. This one's pretty good. You could use that as say a, kind of like a secondary mod. Because if you look right here on my Inferno Seed, I have 2 different mods here. Now the first mod, the crit hits will cause an explosion. And I can tell you just off of personal experience, it's a lot of fun to see. Now this one will create an explosion just on shooting the enemy every 3 seconds. So mine, you have to do crit hits. So, fireworks is not bad. Especially if you have a weapon that has 2 mods on it, having fireworks for one, and then say, like frozen bullets or freezing bullets for your second. That would be a pretty sick combo, because then you're exploding the enemy and you're freezing them at the same time. That could be pretty good. So fireworks, keep that in mind. That's a pretty good one. Next up, first things first. Now this mod, I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, I do not like this mod. So first shot after reloading will armor, pierce, 30% more. And this is every second, so you could shoot a little bit, reload, shoot a little bit, reload, shoot a little bit. But for anyone using a automatic weapon, whether it be a assault rifle, LMG, SMG, what have you, this is not really going to be your thing, because you're used to shooting out the magazine. The way that this mod reads, you would have to shoot a little bit, reload, shoot a little bit, reload. And that's just not something you should be doing. Maybe on like a rifle build, or say like a sniper build, you could shoot a bullet, just automatically reload it, just so you can continuously proc this mod. But for the everyday player, I would not use this one. Next up, Fusion Blast. Shots create a fusion blast dealing, and then remember the damage scales with your level. And then it happens in a 5-meter radius every 1.5 seconds. That's really odd, the 1.5 seconds, but whatever. Now that blast compared to the fireworks is every 3 seconds, but it's a 6-meter radius. This one has a 5-meter radius and half that, but the damage, 20 compared to 39. I mean, it's just above half. So you're getting more than half the damage at half the time with 1 meter less radius. I mean, that might be better than the fireworks. Let me know what you Outriders think in the comment section below. Would you go Fusion Blast or would you go fireworks? Because the way it reads, I'd probably go Fusion Blast just because it does less damage, yes, but if you can proc that twice in 3 seconds, you'll do more damage than you would with fireworks. Just saying. Alright, next up, Soul Devourer. Killing shots will regenerate your health. Now I'm telling you right now, do not get this one. Do not get this one. So Soul Devourer actually makes you have to kill the enemy to get health. Do not use that one. Use the one next to it. Essence Thief. Shots will regenerate your health every second. So what I did as I was going up in the levels is I had Essence Thief and I also had Freezing Bullets on my LMG. And what I did is every time I'd shoot the enemy, it would freeze them and heal myself at the same time. I love this talent. Essence Thief. When you're going up through the levels, it's really fun to use. Now, obviously, once you level up and you start going into the Tier 2 and Tier 3 mods, it's a different story. But when you are starting off in the game, Essence Thief is perfect because you're still trying to get acclimated to the NPCs. You're still trying to figure out, these hordes that just show up from behind you, and sometimes they take some of your health. So having a weapon mod that helps heal yourself while you're shooting it is really helpful. Now, yes, this one gives you quite a bit of health on kill, but remember that health, those health points, those they change while you level up. So you're not going to get 5,000 health points at level 3 when I'm getting 5,000 health points at level, 48, 49. So just remember that. Soul Devourer, I would say no. Go for Essence Thief, because every shot will regenerate your health every second. So just come on. Alright, next one, Killer Medic. So killing shots will replenish your health to allies within 5 meters radius of that target. So say your buddy is getting swarmed by a whole bunch of rushers and you're shooting those enemies to help them out. Well, once you kill those enemies, it'll actually help heal your teammate. This one's pretty good for teamwork. But a lot of us play solo, especially while these whole server and matchmaking and crossplay bugs are getting fixed. So a lot of us are playing solo. I would not use Killer Medic, so pass on Killer Medic. Now this is where we get to have some fun. So these next, 5 or 6 mods are very similar, but completely different at the same time. So first up, we have Ashen Bullets. So these bullets will inflict ash on the enemy every 8 seconds. Now, what I love about ash and why I would highly recommend you use a mod like this is because ash will actually freeze that enemy in place, turning them into ash. And that really helps you out, especially if you're going up against bosses. You want to freeze them just so you can try to get as much damage as possible. So that's perfect. For hordes, say that, you're getting overran by enemies. You can shoot this and a few of them will catch on ash. Perfect. Now remember, it is a tier 1 mod, so it only happens every 8 seconds. But this is a good mod to start out with when you're first starting the game. Now go on to the next one. You can see all of these look similar, and it's because they all inflict some sort of status while shooting. So this one is shots inflict bleed every 8 seconds. This one, shots inflict burn every 8 seconds. Freeze every 8 seconds. Toxic every 8 seconds. And then finally, weakness every 8 seconds. So out of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Out of these 6 different, I call them status effect bullets. Out of these, I would choose freeze, because freeze will set them in place, make it easier for you to kill them. Now another one, hold on, there we go, slow. I almost forgot about slow. So for me personally, Ash, slow, and freeze are my favorite status effects to use in this game, because all 3 of those will set that enemy in place for a few seconds, and you can just focus fire them and kill them really quick. Either they freeze, I mean, even burn kind of works that way as well, but they still move around quite a bit with burn. However, with Ash, freeze, and slow, they do not move. They are stuck in place, and you can just fire away. It's pretty good. Especially, like I said earlier, if you combine something like freeze and essence thief, you'll be able to heal yourself and freeze that target in the same spot. That way you can just keep shooting, keep regaining your health. I mean, self-explanatory. Alright, so then we went all the way to slow, and I highly recommend it. So slow, Ash, and freeze are my favorite status effects for, starting out in Outriders, because you're not completely, set for one status or another. So when you first start this game, you can try these different status effects and have some fun. Alright, we are almost done. Next up is clip combustion. So reloading your weapon will create a shockwave. Now remember, the damage it deals scales with your level, and it is damage dealt to enemies within 5 meters, and this will happen every 2 seconds. So that's not bad, especially if you're using something like a SMG where you're shooting the clip out really fast. You'll be able to reload and get this to happen every 2 seconds. But as far as using it amongst all these other mods, I would say no, pass. Alright, last 4 mods. Ruler of Leeches. So killing shots will increase your weapon leech by 20% for 20 seconds. Now, this would be good, say, if you were using a weapon with weapon leech. But you can see from my example right here, the Inferno Seed, I have crit damage, status power, and long range damage. Now, just in case you did not know, you can hover across each of these attributes, and it'll actually tell you what they do. Now, for this one, Weapon Leech, I'm not a huge fan of Weapon Leech, but if you are, and if you are spec'd into it, you could use this, but I would pass, personally. Next up, Livestock. So reloading will restore, and then the points of health, again, will scale with your level. So reloading will restore health for each enemy you killed since your last reload. So Livestock is perfect for a LMG. So what I actually tested a long time ago with an LMG is I used Essence Thief. Every second your shot will generate health. And I used it with Livestock because that way every time I shoot an enemy I would heal myself, and then every time I would reload I would heal myself. Now the problem with Livestock, and what I found, is that it is only best when you're going against a whole bunch of enemies at once. That way you can mow down 5, 6 of them, then reload, and then all of a sudden you're way max health all over again. It's quite amazing. It does help you out with survivability, but as far as a tier 1 must-have, I would say no, don't do it. Next up we have Hot Bleed. So shots will pass through the enemy whose health is below 50%, and it'll ricochet to 3 different enemies within a 5-meter radius, and it'll inflict burn. And that will happen every 0.3 seconds. Now this one is pretty good. I like this talent, or this mod, a lot. However, if you are not spec'd into burn damage, if you're not spec'd into certain damages, this would not be the best slot for you personally, because what these mods do is they help amplify your build. They help amplify whatever, attribute choices you're choosing. And the weapon mods versus gear mods, the synergy there needs to be on point. If you are not really looking at your mods and you're not really making a build, you are just hurting yourself and whoever you're playing with. Builds do matter. Now, as far as this Hot Blood mod, I would probably say for beginners and Outriders, I would probably shy away from it. But for me personally, if I were to find a epic weapon right now and the first talent or the first mod on it was Hot Blood, I'd probably keep it. Because then you could do Hot Blood with, say, Burning Bullets. Or if you go, tier 2, tier 3, you'll be able to get some even better burning mods. And you could just stack it that way. But if you're not stacked into burn, I probably would not use it. And then last but not least, Proliferation. So shots on enemies will inflicted by a status condition will inflict that status to the nearest enemy. Okay. So Proliferation basically will spread whatever status effect you are doing to other enemies. So if you're using freeze bullets, it'll help freeze all the other enemies. And if you're using burn bullets, it'll help burn all the nearby enemies. However, this only happens every 1 second, and that enemy has to be inflicted with a status effect. So just remember that if you're using, like, say, freezing bullets with Proliferation, you'll be able to freeze more targets, and it'll just make the game a lot easier. So Proliferation's a good one. Essence Thief, freeze bullets, slow bullets, ash bullets. These are all great mods to use. So that is all your 25 tier 1 weapon mods. I hope I helped explain all of these pretty clear. Let me know in the comment section below which ones you choose whenever you were first starting out Outriders, or say you're about to start a new character. Which one of these mods would you go after first, and why? And yeah, besides that, while you're at it, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe to the channel. I'm Kamikazevondoom. I hope you enjoyed the video, found it helpful, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.